right, we're going to continue on here this morning with Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Team Penske Ford. We'll go right into questions for Ryan, who would like to start us off. All right, we'll start right up here in the front.
Jared Haas with FrontStretch.com. Obviously, Bubba Wallace got penalized, suspended this weekend with his incident with Kyle Larson. You're pretty good friends with Bubba Wallace. Did you talk to him this week, and what is your reaction with NASCAR's response to Bubba Wallace this week?
Yeah, I spoke to him. Didn't speak about that, but it's NASCAR's decision. It's whatever they thought was the right thing to do in that kind of case. And that's, I don't really speak on too many instances I'm not involved in, but that's all NASCAR's kind of judgment call, and they kind of did what they thought was fit for it.
Go to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. NASCAR had the Cole Custer penalty the week before, and now this penalty to Bubba. Have they sent any sort of message to drivers? And do you feel like would you change? Does it change any of your thoughts of what you might do in those situations?
Not really. I personally think it's good that NASCAR is putting kind of the law down, right? Like to hammer down on things that they think is wrong, and they want to act. It's the only way you can kind of police it, right? You have to do those things. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's their call. If they see something that they don't like, I expect them to act on it, and they have the last couple weeks. So it doesn't approach the way I do anything. In my mind, you never think that, if I do something malicious with intent or something like that, I can get away with it. You always think there's going to be law and order. But I personally like that they're enforcing things. I think that's the way it should be, and that's why they're the sanctioning body.
Go to Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. What's this week been like for you, kind of moving past Las Vegas?
It was good. Went grocery shopping and watched Dad test it at the dirt track at Charlotte, so that was fun. And then you get ready for here. It's, you talk to everybody, when you go in the race shop on Mondays and Tuesday, and, you see your guys, and we get over things pretty quick. You apologize for, that's a single incident that's my bad last week. I just tried too hard and ended up wrecking, and, you apologize for that, and we're one big group, so they understand when I mess up, and I understand when they mess up, and we move forward from it. So, we had that deal, and then we just quickly turned to Homestead and what we need to do here to, run well, try to win the race, and try to put ourselves in a good spot, going to Martinsville next week.
Speaking of winning, do you feel like you're in a must-win scenario, or do you feel like you can still point your way in?
I don't think we're in a must-win. After I wrecked last week, I thought I was going to be way more points out than what I actually am. I guess, the stages, we ran really good, so luckily we had those. But no, I don't think we're in a must-win. You never know what can happen. I think you can make up those points within the next two races, but I'd sure like to win this weekend. But I don't think we're in a must-win. No.
What has stood out to you about Joey Logano on the 22 team this year and what they've been able to do? Anything?
Yeah, I think they've just been really, really consistent. Obviously, they've, winning as much as they have, showing up with good speed. And I think something that he and Paul Wolf do a really good job at is working through the race, especially from practice to the race. Like, I sit in all the meetings, obviously, and sometimes they can be way off in practice and not happy with their stuff. And they do a really good job of talking through it and, getting better for the race and kind of predicting what the track will do. And you try to learn from that, obviously, as much as you can. But yeah, they just do a great job of getting to where they need to be, even if they aren't in the best spot, the day before or even at the start of the race. They do a great job of getting better. So I, obviously commend them for that. And they've really shown strength this year and showed a lot of strength last week and earned themselves a spot at Phoenix. It'd be nice to join them.
Let's go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. Along those lines, what you say they do well, what do you need to improve on, and what are your strong points and weak points in the car?
Yeah, Joey and Paul are very well-seasoned veterans of the sport. You know, they've been around for a long time, and they do a great job of looking at the bigger picture of things. And something I try to do better is that exact same thing. Kind of look at the bigger picture, look ahead a little bit more than right in front of you in the moment. That's for sure. And they do a really good job at that. And I think that's something that myself and you know, Jonathan's been on vacation for the last few weeks, but Miles has done a great job of stepping in. But I think that's something that, you know, when Jonathan comes back, it's something he and I can really improve on too. You know, it's his first full year crew chiefing. So, you know, it's something I feel like we can really work on is trying to plan ahead a little bit better. And I think we do a good job at it now, but, you know, I can definitely do a better job at that for sure. So, like I said, you try to learn from people who are really good and surround yourself with good people and definitely have that. You just have to apply all those things.
For next week with Martinsville, you know, so you got to get out of here, but do you see that race as calm or chaotic next week?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that race always kind of gets pretty wild. I hope the racing there is better than the spring. I don't know how it's going to be any better or different from the spring. I don't understand it. There's no changes really. So I think it'll be wild. I mean, you're going to have, you know, let's say a playoff guy wins tomorrow, you're going to have 6 guys trying for 2 spots. So it can definitely be chaotic. So yeah, I think you just have to prepare yourself for anything. I mean, that race is obviously a long one, so you have to be there at the end of that thing, but you have to be aggressive to kind of position yourself, you know, towards the front. Qualifying there was really important. You know, Joey and I qualified really bad there in the spring, and our race runs were great, but we got to, you know, 3rd and 4th, and you were a lot better than 1st and 2nd, but you just can't pass them. You can't even get to them to lay the bumper to them. So we'll see, but I feel like it's going to be pretty aggressive next week per usual.
Do we have any additional Holly?
Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service, kind of along those lines, and I asked earlier today other drivers, but does it feel like the aggression is a lot more this season than it has been in past, or are we just interpreting that because of recent events? But does it, for you personally, does it feel like it's any more aggressive in the playoffs than it has been?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like that's been the kind of the story all year. You know, I feel like we've talked about it all year of, you know, gosh, the racing's been so much more aggressive than what it has been in the past. You know, because I just think the emphasis on winning it's weird because, you know, winning means the same now than what it did, you know, in the years prior when you win and you're in. You know, it's just the same deal. So I think it's just it's so hard to win, and these cars are so sturdy that you can be more aggressive with these cars, you know, as far as laying the bumper to somebody, kind of dooring somebody. You're not going to get tire rubs and things like that. So I think that kind of plays into it a little bit. You know, and I feel like restarts have been super aggressive because track position is so important. Like, you know, I feel like track position now is probably the most important that it's ever been because it's just hard to make it back through the field. Because the cars are so close, so it's harder to kind of get around guys, and B, the cars can get put in situations to where they're in traffic, they're just kind of a nightmare. So it's definitely put a bigger emphasis on trying to be aggressive. And the playoffs, I don't think the playoffs have been any like more aggressive than the regular season, any different than like the regular season to postseason jump that we see every single year, kind of in the spike in aggression levels. So yeah, I don't think it's been any more aggressive than I expected. Really, it's been fine in my book. So,
Any final questions for Ryan? All right,
awesome.
Ryan.
Thank you.